Someone just called us named Dr. Pinto. I don't know who it was.
3 a.m. Ooh, that's the palace.
Whoa, it's huge! That looks like one of the store buildings, like the Macy's one.
Yes.
From a book that we read
before
in a video. But I don't know if it was in the video.
It looks like New York for sure. But
Yeah.
we're in California.
Yeah, so leave that alone. Others also were up late that night, but not for fun. For firefighters, it was their job to be up to. A fire broke out in a warehouse around 11 p.m. That's probably when he got out. The fire department responded with minutes. A special alarm system had recently been set up. That was a waste of time. That was a waste of time to set them up if everything was just going to crash down.
Well, they didn't know that.
Well, yeah, if an earthquake happened now, what's the point of painting this house and doing all the,
It would be unfortunate if we redid the house and then had an earthquake. That would be really bad timing. But you can't control it, so.
Yeah, you're not Mother Nature.
The bells rang out a code that told exactly where the fire was located.
That's pretty cool. What if it was horses? I'm allergic to horses.
Well, they didn't have fire trucks, so fire horses would pull the equipment.
Like in the Boston Tea Party video?
Yeah.
They ride on horses in a carriage?
That's right.
Each fire station had extra strong horses that could pull fire trucks up the city's steep hills. That night, firefighter Jack Murray. Murray or Murray?
Murray.
They pronounce names fully different.
Well, I would guess it's Jack Murray.
Jack Murray noticed that the horses were unusually nervous. They said and then
unusually nervous. So more nervous than they are most days.
And just whoever watching this knows, Murray was spelled Murray. So I think it's Murray. You think it's Murray?
Well, I went to school with someone whose last name was Murray, and that's how he spelt it.
Oh.
So that's just what I think. But
also, she's an English teacher.
That is true.
Wait, I don't think we read that.
Well, unusually nervous.
Oh. They kicked the sides out of their stalls and resisted being put into harnesses. The horses had been to many fires and have never behaved like this. Some people believed animals acted up this way.
Wow. Yeah.
Good thing we have lots of horses here.
They believe that animals sense when something bad's going to happen.
Yeah? I don't recall anything like that.
So, they had horses in San Francisco to pull the fire apparatus. They noticed that animals were getting very nervous. Murray mentioned it to the fire chief, Dennis T. Sullivan. Sullivan had studied fires in other cities, and he knew that San Francisco could be destroyed by a major one. 9 out of every 10 buildings were made of wood.
Most of the ones here are made out of brick, because this place is pretty old.
Yeah.
Not our house, but our town.
Right.
So, I bet ours would be less fire resistant.
Right, so it probably wouldn't catch the way in San Francisco. They're all made of wood, and they're also very close together. So
right,
like
in Boston,
space.
you showed us that they are very close together because they didn't have a lot of buildings.
Right. So just like Boston, San Francisco houses are extremely close. The difference is Boston's are brick, and California's are wood.
Because Boston is what you say, it's not as old?
I would say Boston's older.
Maybe smarter people worked there.
Yeah. Well, people like Ben Franklin were building those buildings.
Where?
They used brick in Boston.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But in California, those buildings were made much more recently.
How did the mic get here? That was on my shirt.
It was. I don't know what happened to the pin.
Okay, let's fix it.
All right, let's read a little bit more.
Okay. Probably not even.
Sullivan had studied fires in other cities. He knew that San Francisco would be destroyed by a major one. 9 out of every 10 buildings were made of wood. Parts of the city were built on new land, made from earth, dumped into the San Francisco Bay.
Wait, I have a question. I raised my hand. Is San Francisco still destroyed, or like
I think they rebuilt.
did they ground with the parts so they could see like the earth's core?
I don't know.
Like in St. Martin when the hurricane hit,
Yeah.
they had to redo everything.
Yeah, it's very much like that. San Francisco and California are known for earthquakes.
Really?
Yeah.
Good thing we don't live in California.
So, the buildings did not rest on very solid ground.
Oh.
Fires after an earthquake would destroy these areas.
But they did say that, like, in the introduction, they said that, well, like, once the earthquake happened, fires spread because, like, all this stuff hit the ground hard and,
Right.
like, they hit, like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
friction happened between, like, wood and, like, another piece of wood. Like, if you went camping, like, you rubbed some sticks
Right.
together really hard
Yep.
or something.
And sometimes, like, gas lines break and then they can explode.
Like, at Mark Basket, there was a gas leak.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yep. And everyone had to evacuate. They were waiting for fire. So.
Like, and if, like, you hit a tank at the, like, gas station,
Yes.
that'd be bad. And me and Sid also played this game before in Roblox, which is a video game thing. On this game was called Growing Up, and you learned how to drive your car, but you accidentally hit the gas tank thing, and then you blow it up. So there's a fire extinguisher that you use to blow it up.
Yikes. So there's San Francisco.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Is that bigger than our town?
I'm going to guess that's physically bigger than Boston. It's way bigger than Ipswich. But I'm going to guess it's even bigger than
Why
Boston.
is there so many, like, details, like squares and stuff like that?
Maybe those are streets. There are just so many of them that they didn't name them. And then this is a park.
Golden Gate Park?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, the Golden Gate Bridge is in San Francisco?
Yes.
I've seen pictures of it.
Yep.
Have we ever been to San Francisco?
You haven't, but I have.
You're like laughing like, you haven't.
I have.
Yeah, so
I wonder how much of the city gets destroyed.
did you see, like, evidence from it or at all?
No, I went to San Francisco, like, right before you were born.
Oh.
So they had much time to rebuild.
Yeah. And I bet they've changed from now, too. Like, that was, like, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco is, like, a wicked expensive place to go now. And I think, like, Facebook and Twitter, I think it's all based, Google, it's all based in San Francisco.
Really?
I think so.
So they, like, so I bet there would be, like, the Google building, like, like it's tall, like, some businesses, like, or, like, apps, I guess, they have, like, their home building, I guess is what you could call it.
Right.
So, like, YouTube probably has, like, a station building or something.
Yep.
TikTok has one in, like, California.
Yep.
So,
I bet it's San Francisco.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, like, considered, like, Silicon Valley.
So it's very expensive in, like, a rich area.
Yep.
So kind of like New York, but, like...
Yep.
It's almost identical to Los Angeles, except it doesn't have a lot of damage.
Right. That's San Francisco.
Another problem was the number of tall buildings that dotted the city skyline. That also increases the amount, like, of, lightning striking. Plus, because the Golden Gate Bridge has water under it, you have more of a chance of getting hit. So.
That's right.
I'm just gonna reread this so it makes sense.
Mhm.
Another problem was the number of tall buildings that now dotted the city's skyline. Some were over 300 feet high, taller than our house. The water pressure from the city's hydrants was not strong enough to reach fires on.
Yep. So those floors were just gonna burn.
That's bad. Because, like, if I was on the top floor, and I bet there wasn't even elevators back then, or there was, I don't know.
I'd guess maybe not.
And since the lifespan of these people were short, I bet they'd trip down the stairs, there'd be fire on the stairs. Like,
You certainly couldn't put a ladder up to it and climb down.
true.
So it was
Because it's too high.
it was like certain death for those people.
Very dangerous. Lightning is one, earthquakes,
Mhm.
fire, and
Super tall buildings.
losing money. Like, it's really easy to spend $10 there, but you can't even live on $10 there. I wonder if there's even a market basket there.
The
Too
fire
much for me.
department had pumper trucks that could bring water from the bay, but if a fire was too far from the bay,
the pumpers could not be used. These were also cisterns,
there were also cisterns, which is an
underground tanks of water. So I guess that would prevent fires?
well, they would use that if
Oh.
they didn't, kind of like fire hydrants.
Oh, like a hose? Sullivan
Yeah, the fire chief.
knew that the cisterns were old and leaky. They would not be much help in a major fire. They were old and leaky. Wouldn't that mean they would, like, work better? Like, they'd squirt everywhere?
No, I think he means it's old and it probably didn't hold water correctly.
Oh, so it
it
just
leaked out.
Like in the game at Field Day, like there was a bunch of holes and you tried to fill it up with water.
Right.
So.
Yep.
It'd be like that.
So you couldn't count on that cistern to help in an emergency.
Right. Like we were talking about getting like a ladder or something.
Yeah.
For fire, so that would be help, but this one.
No, not for these guys, at least.
A pumper truck. In other cities, fire departments sometimes used dynamite to fight. Dynamite makes more fire and explodes things. Why would you want to explode a fire? That won't even work. It'll probably just make more fire.
Well, let's try to read why they did that.
Dynamite to fight major fires. Destroying buildings in the path of fire kept it from spreading.
Okay.
Oh, so if you crashed down a building, then the fire would spread less.
Right.
That's kind of a good idea, but if you hit the fire, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound like it makes sense.
It doesn't sound
but
like a good idea, but back then it probably was one of the most reliable
Yeah.
ideas.
I mean, the fire is going to destroy the building anyway.
True.
So
But what if there was a person in there?
that's an issue.
Is the thing loaded?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Let's just try to finish this page.
Okay. In the path. Sullivan?
Sullivan.
I'm having trouble pronouncing these people's names.
Sullivan.
Had asked to train a team to use dynamite for large fires in San Francisco. But city officials always said there wasn't enough money to pay for that.
Yikes.
Because they spend too much money on rich buildings. Well, why don't you... Well, once the rich person dies who was an opera singer, why don't take his money? Huh?
Oh, so we're almost at the end.
Okay.
There wasn't enough money to pay for that.
So...
Yep.
So, when Sullivan heard about the nervous horses, the chief had shook his head. Something else to worry about tomorrow. After the warehouse fire was put out, he went home in the fire station, where his wife lived. Well, where he and his wife lived. His wife lived. The chief was never off duty, not even when he slept.
So he's like always waiting for something to happen. It's kind of like Officer Aaron. Like he told me he's always worried.
He was downtown earlier.
Oh, really?
We
Yep.
saw him walking.
Yep. He says even when he's at home with his family, he's like waiting for like his phone to go off with an emergency.
So he can't really chill in the pool. But I can't even think how like jobs like that, even if you do get a lot of money, you don't have time to spend with your family.
Yeah. The job kind of follows you home.
Yeah, I've seen like people who make a lot of money from like stuff like that takes a long time. But like I think the thing would be like stay for there a long time with not being with your family, then you'd quit the job, then you'd still have that money, but like I feel like that would just be like a waste of time.
Yeah. Well, this fire chief, he goes home and he's always worried. Even if there isn't a fire happening, he's waiting for the next like tragedy. And so he knows that the animals, the horses are nervous, so he knows something bad's going to happen. So this next little side passage is about animals and earthquakes. So that's where we'll pick up with the next reading.
Okay, wait, let me just do the dance move of the getting ready for something bad to happen. Whoa.
And what is that?
Getting ready for something bad to happen, or like this.
So are you the horse?
No, I'm the person.
Oh, okay. All right, I thought the horses were all like freaked out. All right, until next time.
Bye.